Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Welcome to another edition of Foreplay Matters because
It matters. I'm Madame Beaucoup.
And I'm Madame Wee.
And welcome to another edition of Foreplay Matters because it matters. Today's topic is
Sex Magic with a K.
K for kinky.
And this topic is near and dear to our heart.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yes, near and dear to my heart and lower parts as well. So you are a tantric coach, so many of you may not know, but she knows more about the subject matter than the average person. So can you just give us a little synopsis of what is Sex Magick with a K?
Yes, Sex Magic with a K is pretty much more about connection and creating a sacred space. It's a ritual. It's connecting your sexuality with your spirituality, setting intentions into what you're getting ready to do, slowing things down. I mean, you can kind of put this Sex Magic with a K in the category of foreplay because the whole point is to experience something to connect to your partner, but slowing it down, but really focusing on the ritual and the sacredness of it.
So a lot of people don't think about pairing up sex and spirituality.
Right.
And so, I think that when you put those two words together, some people tend to get freaked out. And so how do you, kind of get your mind ready for what this is?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much you start to introduce certain things, different practices, and you start to introduce other cultural practices because what you have to research and educate yourself on this. So for example, one of the practices is yoni, your yoni eggs, and I have a few of my eggs here to share.
I want to touch them. My hand might blow up.
Yeah, because you don't know where these eggs have been. So this is yoni, and this is rose quartz, and it's connected to your heart, your throat chakra actually, but that leads to your heart chakra, right? And then I have here your jade, which is for balance, and this is connected to your heart chakra. So once you figure out your 7 chakras, which of course you practice as well, you know, sexual energy and everything with your 7 chakras, you have your crown, your third eye, your throat, your heart chakra, your sacral, your solar plexus, and your root chakra. And that's from your crown down to your lower spine. So ladies and gentlemen, think of your root chakra, which is pretty much your genital areas, which is the bottom of your spine that goes up to your crown. That's where you start to think about your sex energy or energy period and getting it balanced or so forth. And if you have any blockage in one of those areas, that's why I have my rose quartz and my jade, because a lot of my blockage, is in my heart. And so, but some people have it in their third eye, and you may see certain colors. Now, you can also add your clear quartz, which is universal, to that, but what that does is that intensifies the crystals that you have.
So for anyone who is not familiar with yoni eggs, what do you do with a yoni egg? Where do you put it?
That's what all wants to know. So pretty much you have different sizes of your yoni egg. You have your small, your medium, and your large. This is the larger one. And so you can have it drilled or undrilled. If it's drilled, that's where you can put some floss or a string through it, and you insert it, of course, in your vagina. But again, it's a whole ritual of what you're doing before you insert. So because you practice as well, you're going to create your sacred space. Whether you have candles, whether you're cleansing something with incense,
where you're not going to be disturbed.
You meditate. You set your intentions, as well as sometimes you can journal or write certain things down on a piece of paper, and you can actually burn that, because whatever you want to release, you burn that so that negative energy is gone, right? And then you set that intention in of what it is that you want. If it's you want to have multiple orgasms, or with your partner, or if you want to, bring in more abundance of money or wealth or whatever, or have a healthy life, and so forth, or healthy relationships or so forth. You set those intentions into your meditation, and then you insert.
And how long does that egg stay in there? When do you hatch it?
Well, the thing is, you pretty much, when you go through your ritual, some say that you can keep it in and it will release when it's ready to release. I necessarily don't believe that, only because I just don't want something up in me that long. And so what I do is I pretty much try to practice and have it in no longer than 4 hours.
Okay.
So that's myself.
Right.
And there's other things that you can do with your yoni as well, because definitely when you want to charge it, you need to charge it with the sun or the moon, and it depends on what you know that you can accept, because I know, like you, Madame Boku, you can't receive anything from the moon.
Right,
correct?
I'm crazy enough. I don't need any more lunacy in my life, so I get sun energy, and if I'm charging my crystals, then it's always in the sun.
In the sun. And I charge my crystals in the sun and in the moon.
Right.
And then as far as cleansing them, because so like some people are like, oh, how do I cleanse it? And they're thinking, oh, let me cleanse it with a toy cleaner, a vibrator toy cleaner, or an antibacterial. You can cleanse it if you want to do it that way, because just like what you do with a vibrator, you cleanse it with the toy cleaner. However, when we say cleanse your yonis, it means to cleanse with sage and so forth, right?
Correct. So, can you use a yoni egg with a partner?
Yes, you can, and I have.
Well.
And it's Sex Magick with a K.
So how did that go? Like, what was that experience like?
Well, that was a wonderful experience. And the thing is, it's an experience to take to the bedroom.
Yeah.
It's something different.
Okay.
So pretty much my lover, my partner, I introduced this to him a couple of years ago, probably about 2 years ago or so. And so I said, this is what we're going to do. So that's where you have to have...
This is what we're doing.
This is what we're doing. So, but you want your partner to engage in the ritual, because that's the whole thing. It's about that spiritual connection. So I pretty much, leading up to why I was charging my crystals in the sun and the moon, I was also educating him on it.
Right.
So letting him know what I was doing with the crystals, also letting him know what chakras mean, what yoni means. It's an ancient Chinese practice.
Correct.
Sorry, because we talked about Tantra earlier. That's ancient Indian practice. So that's where I was educating him on yoni eggs and where it originated from. So that if he wanted to do a little research on his own, he could do it as well.
Right.
So then the night came, of course, most people, when they start to practice, they like to do it with the new moon. Right? So
Not me.
Not you? Right. So you can either do it with the new moon or the full moon. And it depends on what you're trying to put out there in the universe, right? So we did it both times.
So does he have an intention and you have an intention, or do you have combined a combined intention together?
We have combined intentions, and you talk about that. That's during that meditation process. Once you kind of insert, once I insert the egg inside of me, so that we can set our intentions into our lovemaking, or our intentions into our relationship, or whatever intentions we're putting in, we're doing it together, meditating. And then we're pretty much starting our breath work and so forth together, to do our circular breathing together.
Oh, you're going to have to talk to me about the breath work. This is a lot. This is a whole thing.
It's a lot. Yeah, it is. And it's pretty much trying to get your circular breathing in line with each other, because think about it, it's your partner. You're becoming one, right? So then once you do that, then it's kind of like maybe 30, 45 minutes. You don't really know, because time just kind of, you don't worry about time, right? And so it kind of, I'll say 30, 45, an hour later, and then you insert. He would insert and penetrate with the egg inside.
So does he put the egg in? Do you put the egg in?
It depends. Yeah. It depends on whatever it is that you discuss.
Do you make a wish and blow on it and then?
No.
Okay.
No, it's not making a wish. um, you pretty much set the intentions together, and you talk about it. Either I can insert it, or he can insert it. That's fun if he inserts it in, because then he can do like a little pussy massage at the same time, and that's wonderful. A pussy massage with the yoni egg going in, that's sex magic.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, and then pretty much you've now gone into your love making, which you have set the intention of your sacred ritual. So that's sex magic, and that's with the yoni.
Yeah.
But sex magic can also be, again, with that sexual and that spiritual connection, can also be tantra, or doing a tantric massage, and a lot of that's dealing with sex energy as well.
So you really have to be in tune with your partner. This is not, like a one night stand. You have to.
Yeah, no.
You can't be like, hey, got my eggs.
Well, you can do sex magic by yourself, of course.
Yeah.
Because you can set those intentions by yourself.
And it's very powerful by yourself.
It's very powerful by yourself. So you can do it by yourself, or you can do it with a partner that you know and trust.
Right.
Because not saying that it's your partner that you are in a relationship with. If you're not in a relationship and you're single, but you want to experience this, maybe a partner that you trust,
right,
and you have some type of relationship with, because pretty much you can do this as well.
Right.
And the reason why I say as far as this, because you can insert the yoni egg in you with a friend or a very close partner that you have, but you don't go to the level of penetration with the egg, right? So you set different type of intentions. Whereas with tantra, you're not penetrating at all.
Wait. So you have a friend or a partner that you're not going to have sex with, but you're setting intentions together.
Yes, it could be like a trust thing. It could be a friend. It could be something like that. If you're single and you wanted to experience sex magic, then you should choose someone that you trust and you have a relationship with. Because a relationship is just not a sexual relationship. Right. A relationship is not just someone that you're with and you're always having sex with them. A relationship can also be your partner that you have a certain type of friendship with, and you want to set intentions and so forth with that partner as well, or that relationship.
I feel like the audience wants to know, are you both naked if it's just a friend?
Yes, you are both naked. That's why I said choose someone you trust. Yes, you are both naked, so you want to choose someone you trust.
Right.
Yes. And that's not the one night stand.
Right.
But I don't think you want to create a sacred space or do something spiritual with a one night stand. Wow. You're going to want to do something spiritual that you want to have someone that you want to have a connection with.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's the whole point of it.
Yeah. So speaking of just having a connection with someone, I recently had sex after.
Tell us about it. I get excited.
I recently had sex, and this is after almost 2 years of like abstaining, celibacy, what have you. And I went, I traveled to Africa,
right,
and I met this guy, and we really hit it off. And for the time that I was there for almost a month. We were seeing each other pretty frequently, and it came time for me to get ready to leave to go back to the United States of America, coming to America, and we had sex. And so while we're having sex, and it's good. Like the sex was great. I mean, like he's very attentive, strong, because I'm a big girl. It's
really
muscle is heavy. Okay, so,
I'll give that to you.
Anyway, so it was passionate. It was intense. And he says to me, "Say a mandala." And so we're going, and I'm like, what?
Was there any African beats going on?
It was in my head. It was on my ass.
It was on your ass and your head? Y'all were playing music.
He was playing bongos back there. So, and so he says, say a mandala. And I'm like, a mandala? So what? A mandala, right? A mandala. And I swear, he's saying a mandala, I'm saying a mandala. It starts raining outside,
wow,
like even to the point of hail. And to me, I was like, what in the entire fuck is going on right now? But it was intense. Like I was completely wiped out afterwards. We both go to sleep. It's still raining cats and dogs out there.
But rain signifies something. So that's sex magic with Mother Nature.
It was sex magic with Mother Nature in the motherland
In the
when
motherland.
bongos playing.
That was
in
a great
Africa.
experience.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. Except we had sex one more time before I had to go. Then I had to go.
So at least he wasn't the one night stand.
He wasn't. It was 2 nights. It was twice.
2 nights stand.
No, it was twice in a night. And so I'm leaving. I get on the plane and I realize that all of my energy is drained, completely drained from me. And even to this day, I'm like, did he take my power, or were we conjuring something? Like, what was going on? But I was so drained. Like, thank God I was in business. Oh my goodness.
So once you got home, how did you replenish your energy?
I had to meditate. I had to meditate. I had to go outside, be in the sunlight. But I was literally completely sick the whole ride, going back.
But that says something. The audience needs to hear that.
It's powerful, and it's nothing to fuck with.
Sex magic is very powerful.
Yeah, and it's nothing to fuck with. Really.
And that's probably too, as far as being drained and everything, because your sexual energy, you didn't create that sacred space.
Right, I wasn't intentional.
You weren't intentional.
Right.
Exactly. Because the whole point of sex magic is to keep that energy going and be able to flow that sexual energy throughout all of your cells in your body.
Yeah.
That will give you energy and keep you nourished and replenished and so forth. But that's what our audience members need to hear, that once you were drained, how did you recharge?
Right.
And you said
meditate, prayer,
yoga, a yogi.
Like, I got a reading. She knew what happened. Like, I called my reverend, and she was like, "Did you have sex?" I was like, "Yes." Shame. And she was like, "Listen,
this is from your reading."
This is from my reading.
And so I want to get into that.
Okay. And so she's like, look, you got a lot of your energy drained in this, and so just you have to be careful. You have to take care of yourself, do self-care right now, because a lot of your energy is weak. And I was like, okay. And so, that's what I did. I was very intentional about replenishing myself and re-energizing myself. But, again, you can't play around with this. No. This is not something, it's not, fun and games.
Right.
Like,
it's
really
not just because it sounds interesting.
And I learned the hard way.
You're just doing it. Yeah. No, this is really setting intentions into your sacred space. This is really setting intentions into your love making.
Right. So he might have been intentional, but I wasn't intentional, and so that was the missing link.
Right. And and you had to recharge. Now, tell us a little bit, because Sex Magic. Now, this is kind of a little off the Sex Magic topic, but I feel like it is a part of it, because to me, it's also spiritual and getting connected to sex tarot cards. And Madame Boku, we know you practice sex tarot cards.
Yes, I do read tarot. For the most part, if you get a reading, if any of you have gotten a reading before, what typically comes up for you in readings, or what do you typically ask about?
Love.
It's love. It's romance. So it's not that hard of a transition to do sex tarot, but it's very clear. The cards don't lie. It picks up your energy, and it speaks to what's going on in your relationship, what's going on with you, whether or not you're bringing in career, but unless you're having sex on the job. But this is like sex tarot. So,
if you're at the job most of the time, most people are going to have relationships with, and that's another episode, relationships with people at their job.
Yeah, no,
especially
definitely.
If they're spending too much time at work.
This is true. But the tarot definitely picks up your energy, and it can reveal some things that are going on for you relationship-wise, whether or not you're repelling or attracting energy, and things that you can do to kind of correct or self-correct that, what you need to watch out for. If you have a very aggressive lover, that will come up in swords. If you have someone that's very communicative, then that'll come up in wands. So there's different things that can show up that just kind of tell your story and give you some insight. So that's sex tarot.
That's very interesting.
Do you need a reading?
I do. Since you started practicing, I've been asking. I'm like, when am I getting my reading? So tell us, what are the 9 things you probably never knew about Sex Magick?
So I'm glad you asked. So we found this article on Pride.com, and so there
And it's
is.
Pride Month.
It's Pride Month. So one of the things that you probably never knew about Sex Magick is Sex Magick is using your sexual energy to cast a spell. And so here it says Sex Magick uses your own sexual energy, often with an orgasm, to cast a spell. And we're not talking witchery here. It's just basically just being intentional. This is the wording that they have in the article,
I mean,
so don't
that
get
can
freaked
be
out.
misinterpreted. But yes, I mean, it's interesting because my lover did feel like I was casting a spell on him. But
Sex Magick.
Sex Magick. I mean, he's still around.
So there's also orgasms can be powerful tools to harness energy. So let's get into that part because most people don't realize that the vagina is a portal.
Yeah.
Okay, it is a powerful portal, like water is a portal, like fire is a portal. That's why you burn candles, why you might have water wherever you're, getting ready to do your meditations. But your vagina is a portal. And so having an orgasm is a very powerful use of your intentions and how you can manifest things in your life. So we're out here wasting orgasms when we can be bringing in some money. We can be
exactly because you set your intentions into that orgasm. And the thing is, like you said, as far as wasting orgasms, a lot of women lie about having orgasms. And it's like, why aren't you trying to figure out how you have an orgasm?
Yeah.
Like learn your body and have an orgasm because you can set that intention into your orgasm.
Well, yes. I mean, and you're very big on masturbation. So you can learn a lot by just learning how to please yourself. You cannot rely on somebody else to know your body in that sense.
Because you got to tell them how to please you.
You have to tell them
And
how.
every woman's body is different.
Right.
Structure different, shape different.
Right. So if you don't know how to give yourself an orgasm, then
how do you expect somebody else to give you an orgasm?
But if you do know how to give yourself an orgasm, then you can use that orgasm to your benefit.
Yes. And that's Sex Magick. What are some of the other things that people probably never knew about Sex Magick?
Okay, so when you're being intentional, just visualize what you want to come, so to speak, as you come. So visualize what you want to come. If you want more money coming in, if you want a lover, if you're masturbating, you're solo, solo dolo, then, and you'd like a mate, you can visualize that, while you're about to orgasm. Some people, they will they'll pleasure themselves to a certain point where they almost orgasm, pull back,
right?
And then start to advance again, pull back.
And they say you should do that about 3 times or so with setting your intentions and so forth, so that it's kind of not like misread or whatever, misread energy or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. So you should definitely pull back. They say about 3 times.
3 is the magic number.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Oshun, I'm Oshun. We're Oshun.
De La Soul said 3 is the magic number. Don't make me get to singing.
It could be 5 or 7, whatever
it could
your
be,
magic number is.
and there's numerology involved as well.
Exactly.
If you're intentional, if you have a certain number that's your lucky number, then maybe you want to do it that many times. Or if you are aligned with an Orisha, Madam we just mentioned Oshun, and Oshun's number is.
Isn't it 5?
It's 5. Yeah. Pop quiz.
It's 5. Yeah, because I'm an Oshun baby.
As am I. That's why we get along.
Yeah, that's why we get along. And then, I'm a May baby. That's 5. And then I'm the 15th. That's 5.
So her birthday.
5,
she's about to give you her Cash App. So you.
Yeah.
Okay, so your intentions also don't always have to be about sex. So one of the biggest misconceptions about Sex Magick is the spell or the intention that you cast is to have better sex. And so you can practice Sex Magick to get whatever you want. Energy is energy. Sexual energy is energy. Yeah.
I mean, you can set it with several things. I mean, and if you're doing it, practicing it with your partner, you can set it together. So you can set, how you want the relationship to be, how you want fortune to be, how you want family life to be. friendships, longevity. It doesn't have to just be sex,
Right.
Type of intentions. It can be live a long life,
Right.
live a long, healthy life.
Well, if you're having
Have
an orgasm, you will.
Have prosperity. It's my B12 shot. so it's my B12 shot. So yeah.
So earlier you talked about with Tantra setting a sacred space. And so this is one of the other things that they mention here in the article is to create a magical setting.
Right.
And to enhance the vibe of your magical masturbation, then create the setting that's going to, create and conjure that for you. So put on music, light, candles, take a bath. A fantastic bath, put some rose petals
some
and
salts in there, or oils or so forth.
So talk a little bit about creating a sacred space.
Right. Now, as far as if you're going to do it by yourself, then pretty much, you create what is soft, what brings you pleasure. You can create that around you. You can create an altar by your bed or at the foot of your bed. Whatever it is, of how you're going to create that space. It can be, like you said, like myself, I have my altar because I'm Oshun, so that's yellow and gold. So, I have a lot of yellow candles, white candles, gold, cinnamon, honey, because, the honey pot and so forth, around in my altar. Then as far as, when I'm engaging with my partner, then of course dimming the lights or lights off, having candles.
Right.
You can have incense, something to... Pretty much when you're creating that ritual or sacred space, you're creating things that you're tapping into your felt senses. And that's all of your senses, your sight, your smell, your taste. So you can have some chocolate by the bed. So when you're doing your ritual, you can engage each other with chocolate. Feeling, your feel. So think about all of your, what we call felt senses that you're going to be engaging into this. But also setting the intentions into everything that you're putting in your sacred space. It could be a soft blanket. It could be a pillow. It could be, something that maybe... if you're with your partner or so, is something that gave you like a saying or a prayer or something, that's on a card or something. You can put it. Also, too, you can take your yonis or your crystals, and they could be rough. Just the rough ones don't insert inside of you. But the rough ones you can possibly put like rose quartz, because it's heart chakra and bringing love and relationship and balance and so forth. You can put it under your pillow. So there's certain things that you can do to create your sacred space.
So you talked about because you are a daughter of Oshun, the colors that you use, but you don't have to be relegated to those particular colors, like whatever resonates for you. It could be red, that's a color of passion. And
what I say is, if you're into energy and you're learning and you're practicing about your chakras, or if you practice Kundalini or something like that, and say that, or Reiki, and say that you see certain colors and there's blockage, then bring those crystals and those colors into your sacred space, because that's going to help unblock that energy. Right. So like if you're having issues with your, or blockage in your root chakra and your, which is the lower of your spine, and I always tell people the best area to think of is your genital area. It's red. So if you're constantly seeing red or red colors or so forth, then there's also, if you're having sexual energy blockage, then bring some red into it, or the crystals that are associated with that root chakra. The same for your crown and your third eye. If you're seeing white or violet or indigo or something like that, and you're having issues with clarity, then definitely bring those colors into it, because it definitely helps, because all of this is about energy and moving energy. So if you're going to do this, the main thing is to really learn it, really research it, or get a coach. I can coach you. Madam, we can coach you. And there's other coaches.
You can DM down below.
You can DM us, yeah, if you're very interested. But definitely do your research. Just don't jump out there and do it. However, if you want to start as a beginner with the yoni eggs and practice that, you can go to chakra.com, I think it is. Chakrubs.com. And you can get your yoni eggs. And they also send you a nice little starter kit.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are like, where do I begin? How do I start? Well, this is some of the things that you can, but definitely Google Sex Magick, but it's with a K. You'll get some information around that, as well as chakra rubs.
Shock rubs.
Shock rubs.
We will try to help you and put some information in the description
online.
box.
Yeah. Definitely comment on this show, as well as DM us, and we can get that information to you. But it's, again, it's a sacred thing. It's a ritual. So you're not just doing this to be doing this. You really have to set intentions. We have practiced this for some time, for years, and we're going to continue to practice because it really does help.
And even I make mistakes. Like this happened to me recently. So you may fumble a little bit, but it is a practice.
It's a practice. It is.
Yeah.
And it's a lifelong commitment.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, you're in it today and tomorrow you're not practicing it. No, it's not that, and it's not for everybody. But when you do it and you do it with your partner, it is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Because you're connecting more with your partner.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Don't let anybody steal your power.
Don't let anybody steal your power. And take your sexual energy, because Madame Boku, I don't know what you were thinking.
In the spiritual, EMS, honey.
We're gonna have to come up with a little handy dandy guide on that. So is there any other things that people probably should know about?
Well,
sex magic?
I think that sometimes people tend to get really weirded out by the word magic or spells or those types of things. And so in order for you to get out of your head about it, think about it when you have a birthday party and there's a birthday cake and there's candles, and before you blow out the candles, you make a wish. It's the same thing. It's the same thing, the same concept. Okay, so just remember that, to get out of your own way about it. And again, this is a lifelong practice, but it's definitely something to explore with your partner. If you have a deep enough relationship with them that you can communicate, or a friend that you don't mind getting naked with. I don't have one.
Your best friend.
But it's always interesting to kind of try new things, and that sex is not just wham bam, that there's so many other aspects, and this is ancient traditions, this is ancient China, this is ancient, India,
this is other cultures.
Right.
It's just the U.S. trying to catch up, as usual.
Right.
But we definitely want to thank you for joining us for this episode. Hopefully you learned something about Sex Magick. DM us, comment us at secretsociety.life or on Instagram at secretsocietylife. You can also catch us on other podcast outlets, YouTube, but definitely comment. I think this was definitely an episode that's near and dear to our heart, and so we wanted to share with you. So thank you for joining us on this episode of Foreplay Matters.
Because it matters. Au revoir. We should have a wand or something. Close up.